Is this the best GM screen for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons? Well, I think so, but then again, I may be a little bit biased because I'm the one who put this together. I did everything on the interior side and decided what was going to be in it while I was over with Infinite Black, and so it's published by Infinite Black, and it features the art of David LaRocca, so he did a great job with the art on the outside. But when I put this together, I was very inspired by the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons GM screen that we looked at in a previous video that I really liked so much and really thought was a great addition to the table and really helped the game being played. And then when I was getting out other 5th edition GM screens, I thought they were so terrible because they just didn't facilitate gameplay in the same way, so I wanted to make my own. So this is the Dungeons & Dragons GM screen or Dungeon Master screen of our own design. Now, it does say Lore Crafter GM screen, and that's because the Lore Crafter is what we called the Dungeon Master or the Game Master in the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows RPG that David and I were developing, and I wrote the RPG books for Journey to the Tree of Sorrows. That's an RPG set in the Cthulhu mythos, and I wrote those books, and they're over there with David at Infinite Black right now, so I think he's working on the art for them, so they'll get published one day. So they're not out yet, but we did get this GM screen out, and it's a combat GM screen. That's what we made it for, the combat screen for 5th edition combat, because I wanted to put everything inside of it that was going to make combat in 5th edition run more smoothly, and basically see if you could get everything that you needed inside a screen. So this is brand new. I have never even opened it up yet, so I'm going to open this one up, and we're going to take a look at what's inside this screen, and you can tell me if you think it is the best screen out there for 5th edition. Okay, we'll look at this in just a moment. But this is the main screen. So you can see that it is a landscape style screen, so that was one of the things that I like in the new 5th edition screens better than the AD&D screen. That was one of the things that I thought was better, is that I do like the landscape style screens because they're shorter and it doesn't create such a barrier between the game master and the player, and I really like that. So most modern screens are landscape, and ours is no exception, and ours is quad fold. This was a quad fold screen right here. So there's plenty of space. You can see this is basically a standard size playmat, and or it is a standard size playmat, and I could open it up and I could cover everything behind this screen here, or on this playmat with this screen. So it's a really good size screen. Let's take a look at the art first. Now we did go ahead and go with art on one side, and that's because, of course, David LaRocca is a fantastic artist. He was working with me with Infinite Black, and also was one of the creators of the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows world. It was his world that he wanted to do, and so, of course, since he's an artist and it's his world, he wanted to be able to do the art for the other side of the screen that would really invoke the feel of Journey to the Tree of Sorrows and kind of a dark Lovecraftian world of Cthulhu mystery. And so this is what he came up with. So we called it the Miskatonic Lower Library. And so we thought of this as a shelf in the lower library of Miskatonic. And so it's basically all of these books, but then you'll also see different symbols from Journey to the Tree of Sorrows that also showed up in Elder Dice. This is the Eye of Chaos, Nyarlathotep, that David has hidden, or not really quite so hidden, but placed in all of the different, on different books. Here is the Mark of the Necronomicon, very dreadful looking right there. So going this way, make sure I didn't have glare on it. But the Eye of Chaos right there, and then the Mark of the Necronomicon on this book. And then as we go across here, we've got these books here with the yellow sign on it. That's David's design of the yellow sign. And then we get over here to this really creepy looking skull over here. And so I think this Game Master screen does actually win on art. If you're going for art on a GM screen that's really going to invoke a fantastic feel for your game, well, I actually don't think you can get better than this one. So David did a fantastic job with the art on this one. When I'm sitting behind the screen, this is the one that I want to be sitting behind. Just looks good. Okay, so now my part was basically designing what was going to be on the inside. And so if you take a look at this just in passing, you can see that I did try to pack it with as much information as I possibly could. It's laid out nicely, so there is an artistic element to the interior, and David took care of that. But, we didn't go with pictures and drawings inside this because we wanted it to be information. This is for the Game Master. So, I tried, like I said, I tried to pack as many rules as I could think of. So, possible combat actions. So, I'll get up here. So, possible combat actions are right here. Special combat situations. such as flanking, opportunity attacks, ranged attacks in close combat, shooting into melee, tumbling. The conditions are here, which I did say are very important and I really like, and the other screens did have, so that was great. But notice how little space the conditions actually take up right here. It's only here and here. If you dispense with having to draw the picture of the blinded dwarf, you can get a lot more information on this screen. So conditions, all of these right here. Information on 2 weapon fighting, critical hits, knocking a creature out, instant death, death saving throws, damage at 0 hit points, climbing, falling, jumping, swimming, fighting underwater, suffocation, and then onto this side, flying, crawling, cover, resting, mounted combat, resistance and vulnerability, passive checks, madness. We did, obviously, since this is a Lovecraftian game, we did include rules for madness and insanity in the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows RPG, so we added information about madness down here as well. Weapon characteristics, because look at this over here. This is the weapon table. So you've got all the different characteristics of the weapons over here, and then you've got the complete weapon table right here at the Game Master's fingertips. Weapon damage, properties, weight, price, category, and range. Right there. Fantastic. Over here, armor. Here are all of your armor types, AC, as well as information on what kind of dexterity adjustment they allow, weight, costs, and their category. And then here are the effects of short-term madness right there. So, that is a lot of information. I suppose you might be able to score Game Master screens by how long you could run some kind of game without actually having to refer to some other kind of outside reference book like the Game Master's, the Dungeon Master's Guide or the PHB. I would like to think this one scores very well on that because I tried to pack it as full as I possibly could. Now, there is this over here, which is for some other rules that I didn't quite have room for, but it's just opening right here. It can also be used to shield something else from the player's eyes someplace else on the table, so it goes over here. But on the other hand, it's got rules that we couldn't fit elsewhere. So we've got information on concentration, advantage, disadvantage, squeezing into small spaces, working together, group checks, exhaustion, food and water, long-term madness is over here, indefinite madness is right here, travel pace right here, travel pace table, vision and light right there, and then we've got adventuring gear right here. And so one of the reasons we put the adventuring gear on this insert to the screen is because that way also you could hand it over the screen to the players if they needed to reference it as well, or they're going shopping or something like that. You've got a quick list of adventuring gear right here. And then, of course, this is just the game license right here, and also some art about the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows role-playing game right there, which is not out yet. But the GM screen is out, and, well, I think it's the best Dungeons & Dragons DM screen that you can find. I would really love to see it get to a lot more tables and get a whole lot more use. So, please tell me what you think. I would love for it to have a place at your gaming table and really help out and improve your games. Alright, well that's it for now. Please check out my channel if you'd like to see other videos. I got a ton more there. And then also, I will see you in the next video. And until then, happy gaming.